become the light you are. Fear is man enclosed in flesh and wrapped up in a lie. Love is all that conquers death, yet never fears to die. Freedom dances over the threads that try to tie her down. Faith is humble like the one who walks a step behind.
Everyone. Hello. Is there sound?
Yes.
Yes, Om Shanti, sister.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, everyone. Today's topic is living beyond fear, transforming the way we view that. Is there anyone with us on Zoom who is here for the first time? If you could raise your hand. If not, it will just help to know. No one for the first time? Anyone? Unknown host. Okay. First time with us. Okay. Extra welcome. My name is Rona Sweitz, and I have been studying and meditating this Raj Yoga meditation of the Brahma Kumaris for some 30 years. And I started my spiritual journey in the Netherlands in the early 1990, and from Holland I moved to the Caribbean, and in the past 8-9 years I've been here at Manhattan. But this center in Manhattan, this meditation center here, has been around for almost 30 years. Teaching people from all walks of life meditation and sharing with them tools for their spiritual journey. The Brahma Kumaris is a worldwide network of meditation schools, you could say, who started in the 1930s in what is now Pakistan and spread all over the world. And in New York, the activities have been since the mid-1970s. Different centers in Queens, in Long Island, in Westchester, and we have a retreat center upstate. And so this center, the Manhattan Meditation Center, is part of that network. And my professional background is in medicine. I studied in the Netherlands and I practiced as a medical doctor for 18, 19 years in psychiatry and in geriatrics. And especially in geriatrics, that is the area where I, how to say, was more and more faced with people who were in the final stages of their life. And I saw up close how they dealt with it, how doctors deal with that life event, so to speak, how medical personnel deals with it. And it deepened my spiritual journey. And it helped me to reflect more and gain some more understandings on this whole phenomena of death and dying. And during that time that I worked in geriatrics, I also worked in a pain clinic where we did palliative care at home for people with terminal cancer. And as a young doctor, even young myself in my early 30s, that was quite a, quite a thing to every day talking to people, dealing with people in the final stages of their life, but also dealing with their family members or their loved ones, their close ones, their friends. How to go through that process. Because of course, as a professional, you can position yourself in a very matter-of-fact way and just deal with the technical part of it, the medical aspect of it, the biological aspect of it, and give people the tools and the medication to make them physically comfortable. But my experience during that time taught me that even in a deeper way, that the real need of individuals is more so at a mental and an emotional and a spiritual level than necessarily at a physical level. Of course, physically, people want to feel comfort and they don't want to have to deal with too much pain. Of course, that is there. But how to deal with the unknown, the anxiety that comes with that, the fear of losing your body, the fear of losing independence, that you can function independently, the fear of losing your cognitive functions also, the fear that you lose your memory, that you begin to forget things, or that you sometimes not recognize people, or you lose your concentration power, the fear of losing your, your enthusiasm for things, your enthusiasm for life, or the fear of just losing your family, your loved ones, having to go. It is quite a big thing for the majority of people, if they, especially when they don't have a clear, what is the word, belief system in what life is all about and what death is all about. Some people gain lot of strength or have some support through their religion. But even then, many people have such fear. If they have a religion and they believe in God, many even have fear of God or fear of meeting God or being judged by God. Now, is there a way to deal with this life phenomena of death and dying in a different way? That was the question that was going through my mind at that time. And being someone who was meditating, who was very actively involved with the Brahma Kumaris and with the Raj Yoga knowledge and the practice of meditation, I began to use that spiritual knowledge for myself to get a clear idea, at least for myself. What is birth? What is life? And what does death mean? So that at least I can transcend fear and anxiety. And I can be calm and clear about it and not being fearful when interacting with my patients or clients. And if they are open to some deeper conversation, that I would be able to engage in that conversation and hopefully help them pass their last phase of life with dignity and in peace. And what I found is that I began to reflect more on what it means to be a human being. And I began to reflect more on these words. And I had learned in my meditation practice that I am soul. I'm not a body, I'm soul. The body is the temporary vehicle. And of course, that is a very good foundation for reflecting on birth, on life, and on death and the dying process. Because if I am a spiritual being and this body is a temporary vehicle, that doesn't only apply to me, that applies to everyone. Everyone is a spiritual being, and the body is a temporary vehicle. It even applies to animals. All living creatures, they are souls, and their body is a temporary vehicle. So birth then just means the soul. Someone's mic is open. Can you check that your mic is closed? There are some other sounds coming through. So So it means that the spiritual being at some stage enters the womb of a mother who is pregnant. No, because in the beginning there is the egg and the little embryo is formed, but there is no life there. The embryo grows, and at some stage, mother feels that there is life there in the, what do they say, belly. There is movement. It's called quickening. So there is a moment that from a lifeless mass, even you could say, of cells, the soul enters, life enters. And baby starts moving, and that is when they, if they check with medical equipment, that is when the heartbeat becomes visible, or they can hear. Life, separate life starts in that little embryo in the womb. And it is usually between around the 3rd, 4th month of pregnancy that this happens. And so the soul, the being of consciousness, the real you, the real me, the invisible experiencer enters the body in the womb, in the body of the mother, and new life is growing there. And over time, the fetus grows. And that is also the period, when the soul enters. That is the period when usually the whole embryo is complete. It is just small. It is not complete yet, but at least the basics of all the organ systems are there. That is when the soul enters. The potential of a body that can live is fully there. And so the soul enters, and then that grows, and the different organ systems become more refined and specialized. And then the last 3 months, it is just growing and maturing of the body and the different organ systems. And of course, the brain and the whole nervous system. And then at 9 months, there is the physical birth. The baby and the body of the baby and the mother's body become physically separated. There is physical birth. And then, of course, there is further growth and maturing of the body. So the soul enters in the womb, in the body, in the womb of the mother. And then even in the womb of the mother, if you speak with pregnant ladies, you hear from them. No? They really feel that it's like a distinct personality. Energy has come in. And sometimes you also hear mothers, they have certain cravings or certain things that they used to not like, and then now they like. Or they want to eat certain things that before they would never want to eat. Or certain things they want to eat more or drink. Their moods also, for a while at least, are more, what is the word? sensitive, as if the baby's mood is also coming through. And of course, with birth, the physical birth, then the baby becomes physically separated from the body, from mother and mother's body. And then that little human being starts creating its own life and develop their own personality. Of course, under the guidance and the influence of mother and caregivers, parents, father, and the whole environment that is provided. But of course, also the soul brings baggage from wherever they've come from. Certain babies have certain tendencies that they carry with them, that influence their behavior, their growth. You know, some children, they are very shy, whilst other babies, they like everybody. Some children, they want to give away everything. Some children want to hold everything for themselves. Some have preferences for certain toys and others have preferences for other toys. These all are indications of things they have brought from their previous context. I'm not sure if any one of you has seen, but we sometimes show this video of this young boy who is born in the Midwest here in America, white Caucasian family. And from very small, his mother shares, he's obsessed with safety and fearful of fire and hot things. But like she calls him a little old man. And so from the time he starts talking and very cautious about safety and especially heat. And he has a special toy, which is a toy piano that he plays with all the time. But also he has an obsession with the name Pam. And he tells his mother that he used to be Pam. And when they investigate, because he gives lots of details, they investigate, there was a lady who had died in fire. And this boy, scared of fire and very heavy on safety, especially around fire. And Pam's music, she used to play the piano. And so these are like interesting observations made by the Department of Behavioral Studies in the University of Virginia, where they collect cases of children who claim to remember previous lives, but they see certain tendencies. So we carry with us the tendencies and the impressions from previous contexts, and we take them in the present life. And the journey continues. Nothing is static. So we can gain new impressions, old ones fade away, because many of these children, over time, they forget. And exposed to a new environment, different influences, other upbringing, other experiences, their impressions may change, their tendencies may change. And the journey, our journey continues through life. And we grow up, we form a family, whatever. And then at the end of the lifespan, the physical, what is it? There is an expiry date for the body. But in this this spiritual understanding is that even though the body may end, the being of consciousness, the soul, we do not end. Just as the soul has entered the body, we leave the body when the body is not suitable anymore, not in a proper condition anymore to carry on. When the body is old or not able to function the way is needed, required, then the soul leaves the body again. Now that the soul, that is the real you. And so this spiritual perspective on life helps us to understand that we are imperishable, that we are immortal beings, immortal souls. And so that death only exists for the body, but not for you, the being of consciousness. And so this fear of death, mixed within that fear of death is the fear of not existing anymore, not having a continuation. It is as if against our deeper what would be instincts. It is, everyone wants to what is the word? Humanity doesn't like end. Human beings do not like end. And maybe that is because it is in our nature to be not ending, unending. We want to live on and on and on, and we do. Just not this body. But when we identify with the body, we feel I will end or I am ending. But when we are aware of ourselves as spiritual beings, and we know we do not die ever. And the whole fear of end and fear of dying and fear of losing, that can then dissolve. Because we never truly lose anyone. Because just like I am a soul, an imperishable being of consciousness, that also applies for everyone else. And this is a nice understanding. This is, I personally feel, fascinating area of spiritual understandings. But what is even more fascinating is when you begin to experience that sense of timelessness and that immortality as a soul in your meditations. Because more we feel that bliss and that emotional freedom and independence, we are not vulnerable anymore for fear and anxiety. So I'll stop at this moment and we can have, before we have some meditation to experiment with this, I would like to hear from you if there are any thoughts or questions or comments. It will be nice if you come in camera and you can just open your mic, or you can also type it in the chat. Anyone wrote something in the chat? Hmm. Anyone want to say anything? Ask anything? Transforming the way we view that. You want to say anything, Varsha?
No, sister. I just, oops, there I am. No, I'm fine. Thanks, sister.
Someone typed something.
One sister has written, Joy, that I would like to know how to get rid of
How
fear
to
of
get
death.
rid of the fear of it. Well, as I have been explaining, if we view life not so much as a beginning and an end, but more like an ongoing journey of the self, then death is not a dying and a finishing and everything ends, but it is just the next chapter in an ongoing journey. And there is this saying in some of the, I think, the Buddhist tradition, which is quite nice. It says, if you fear makes you die 1,000 times before you die. And then you find out that you actually don't die. And this is quite, so this fear of death makes you as if die, even though you don't physically die. But fear is an emotion and a mindset based on not knowing and not having a clear idea of who you are and of what life and death truly means. So if I understand myself as a spiritual being, as a soul, an invisible, immortal, timeless, innately divine being of light, temporarily associated with this body, a car. If I understand that I know that when I leave the car, I continue on with the journey. And the car may be old and gets demolished. Body stops functioning. But I journey on. And so there is no end for the self. Death doesn't apply to me. It just means the end of the car, the body. And just like any car, when the car stops functioning, what do? You just get out of the car. You don't sit there and be scared or cry. You get out of the car, you go on foot or you take another car. You continue to exist even though the car stops functioning. So in the same way with this body, when this body reaches its expiry date, because body is matter. Matter is not eternal. Matter is new and grows old, and then it gets, demolished. That is nature. These are the elements. That is what will naturally happen. But if we think I am the body, then I will think I will die. Everything will finish. But it's not true. But another reason why people have fear of death is not so much they fear dying or the death, the dying process, but they carry, what is it? Some guilty consciousness, some unfinished business. Sometimes when you have done certain things that were not so nice, you are scared to have the consequences of that. Or as a child, say you did something mischievous. Anytime you are scared, your father and mother will find out and they will, they will scold you or do give you some punishment. So if the soul has lived the life of benevolence, of filled with acts of cooperation, of love, of peace, then we have as if fulfilled feelings about what we have done during the lifetime, of how we have used this body. But if we have cheated and were nasty, maybe even violent, ill-treated, then there is as if this unfinished business and bit of guilty conscience. And then we are scared of the repercussions of that, consciously or subconsciously. So how do I use my life? For what? Did I use a life of service? Did I use my life for serviceable actions? Did I use my life to give joy, give peace to others? Then there will be a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of contentment that I have used my time and used this body for a way that was uplifting in a dignified way. And then there will be internal feelings of contentment. I remember one man that who was one of the patients of the pain clinic. And he was in his last phase, and I would go every day to him to give him some pain medication and some other help around his final stage of cancer. And there was always a smile on his face. And he was happy to see everyone who would come to visit him, but also when I would come, he would be happy. And I very clearly remember asking him, "Why are you happy?" He said, "Because I have lived a good life." And I asked him, how do you define good life? He said, "I have always been good to people. I have always given my best. In every situation, I'm satisfied. In my life, I didn't miss opportunities. I've used every opportunity that came my way to make the best out of life. And now at the end of my life, I'm satisfied. I know that I lived my life fully, and I lived in a dignified way. And I gave back to life, and I gave back to others. So I can live with a calm, peaceful heart. And it taught me so much that we receive this life, we receive this body to make the best of for whatever years we have with this body. If we use every moment in a worthwhile way, if we use every interaction to give the highest and the best, when the time of this body reaches the end, we will feel fulfilled. We will have used it in the best way possible. And that also gives a lot of peace and a lot of deeper contentment. So that is another way how to live and how to die in a dignified way. They are connected. And then understanding the ongoing journey of the soul, we know what we will carry with us are those tendencies of being peaceful, of being content, and of using whatever resources we have for the upliftment of self, of others, of society, and the benefit of society. These are good inner factors to travel with onwards after we leave this body. But if we live with conflictiveness and or if we live with greed and arrogance and maybe even violent, then what will be my feelings about my life at the end of it? And what will I carry with me? And of course, I will carry with me the fear of some repercussion for that. And some of these things are not consciously, maybe most of it is not consciously, but subconsciously there is some anxiety, some fear that what will happen. But if we have used our life in a good way, we will expect nothing but good. You know, what you put out, that is what will come back. Another question?
You want me to read, sister, or somebody else
Oh,
can?
yeah, Brother Jose is here.
Oh, okay, okay.
DNA is in the genes, no? It is, DNA, it, how to say it? It's like the code for the body and the bodily functions. And there are also theories that DNA also manifests in certain personalities and personality traits or certain moods. And so that is definitely possible that it manifests. But there is the function of consciousness, soul. And same DNA in different individuals manifest differently, or might not certain things might not manifest at all. And so certain things may be in the DNA, but if the factors in the soul are favorable, then the best of that DNA will get manifested. If the factors in the soul are unfavorable because of ignorance, because of low quality of consciousness, because of low quality of, what is it? To say it more directly, vices or virtues, karmic accounts from past actions that we carry, dependent on those, certain things manifest or do not manifest. And so it is ultimately the factors in the soul, the factors at the level of consciousness that will decide how the journey is. And for another example, maybe, one time I had two patients who had the same illness. They had prostatic cancer, and they had metastasis in the spine and in other areas of the skeleton. And but their patterns were similar. They were similar in age. They were born in the same country, grew up in the same culture, grew up on the same island. This is in the Caribbean. And they had the disease pattern was very similar, and also the metastatic pattern was similar. And they had pain. Both of them had severe pain because of the metastasis in the bone and in the spinal cord. But one personality was very calm and did not want any pain medication. The other person was all the time complaining, all the time in desperation, all the time asking for more medication, more medication, more medication. The first one, everybody liked to be with him, liked to visit him, be around him. The other one, even though he was asking and claiming for attention, everybody tended to run away from him. And so the bodily structure and what was happening there, that was connected with what was in the genes and the DNA, partly at least. But what was happening at the level of the soul, that was deciding how they deal with that situation. And one had a very different quality of life, even though there was illness, than the other, who had a very miserable experience in the last months of his life. And the first one, he was a meditator. He had been meditating for many years, and I asked him, how come you are so calm? Why don't you take some pain medication, because you must have a lot of pain? He says, I don't want pain medication because it muddles and it dulls my mind. And I don't want it to dull my mind. I want to be fully aware. And I want to be able to connect with you, interact with you, converse with you in a proper way. And I want to be able to meditate. The other one wanted my pain medication all the time. So similar situations. But one respond in one way, the other respond in another way, and experiences life very, very differently. Because their factors at the level of the soul were different. Even though certain constitutional patterns might have been the same in terms of the body. So this is where the spiritual journey becomes so useful and so important. because it gives you tools to transcend the condition of the body or to deal with it in a more mature and even calm way. There is another question, I think, or comment. Hmm.
How can I know the purpose of my life?
How can you know the purpose of your life? How can you find the purpose of your life? Well, one, I think this is not a question that you can fully become clear of in 1 minute, but a purely spiritual answer would be the soul, we are here in this world to share peace, to share love, to share wisdom, to share camaraderie. So one very dignified purpose in life would be you have taken this body and you have come into this world to give, to serve. Having said that, the first, to be able to serve others, we first need to serve ourselves. So to be able to give peace to others, we need to be peaceful ourselves. So at this moment in time, I think the purpose of everyone is to come back to their own highest nature. And that journey, the journey of meditation and study of life's wisdom, which is the main reason why I personally am with this institution, because that is what I feel is what I need to do with this life. Come back to my higher nature, understand life, and share that with others. Have a life that is useful and purposeful, but in terms of awakening of the soul. Now, many people in the world, they dedicate their life for example, to technology or to chemistry or engineering to provide for society some service so that human beings can live better. But at this moment in time, what the world most needs is awakening to their own higher nature, awakening to their virtuous nature. Use your life to create peace in yourself and with others. Use your life to experience pure love and share that with others. Use your life to become wise and share that with others. Find ways. Oh,
Excuse me? Hi.
go ahead.
I picked up a book called The Place of Many Moods. And it has like, paintings of people that they're like going through palaces or something along those lines. And I took that as like a metaphor for experiencing your emotions or your personality traits or something like that. in our minds. But these ideas, they're super, it seems like complex when I've tried to like speak about them with like my family and such.
Mm.
And so I was wondering like what, I don't know, like what way would do I have to kind of share that
Yeah.
because it does feel super like um yeah, finding your highest nature sounds very like personal, you know. So I don't want to
Yeah.
like step on anybody's toes or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is personal. And thank you for bringing this up. It's very good. Sharing it with others is not only through words, and maybe actually that is most of the time not the way. No, talking about these things, sharing these things with others, teaching it, it is only if they want to listen. And it is only in a context like this where you give a talk or you give a session that people will sit down for an hour and listen to these things. But when you're just with your family or with your friends or with colleagues, they don't want to hear your 1 hour lecture. But they will all appreciate your cheerful nature. They will all appreciate when you are, what is it? Encouraging them to bring out their best. They will all appreciate it if you are cooperative. Now, for example, when I go visit my family, they all appreciate, my mother appreciates if I do the dishes and clean the kitchen. She's always, she always is happy if I am smiling and content, if I am helpful, if I'm cooperative. So your own good qualities, bring them in action. Your contentment, your good-naturedness that you have gained because of your higher understandings or your practices of meditation. My mother says before I meditated, she says you could always know when I come home and when I'm in the home.
Hi, Raj.
Hello? Yeah, because the energy in the house becomes restless and becomes somebody is there. And she says, now you are so calm. One thing, this is many years ago, my mother said she was so happy that I was meditating because my room now is always clean and neat. And my cupboards are organized and the clothes are neatly folded. Everything in the room looks neat and clean. Whilst before, things would just be hanging all over here and there, disorder. So this is what I was trying to say, to share with others, not just your knowledge in terms of words and information, but through your behavior and through your character. People feel happy when they're around you, with you. They enjoy your good-naturedness, your simplicity, your tolerance, and your patience. They appreciate that, and it puts them in a good space. So whatever you have read, whatever you are practicing, whatever you are studying, very good. But use it to bring to your interactions with others certain qualities of character. And they will appreciate that. Help them do groceries or something, your parents. They will be so happy.
Thank you. That's sounds simple enough. Thank you.
Yeah. Bring it in practical actions. Okay, it is 7:30. And just to mention, half April, the expectation is that the center will be open again. The repairs are winding up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we hope to see you in the center then again, or maybe for the first time if you are for the first time joining. And of course, things on Zoom will continue, but then you can physically also come to the renewed center again. Okay? So let's close with a few minutes. I wanted to do a longer meditation, but time is already past. Just take a minute and allow the self to become quiet. Let the body take a deep breath. And just create this awareness of the self as a non-physical being of consciousness, operating the body from the center of the forehead, behind the eyes. I am a soul. Timeless, living light. And just fill the mind with this image of tiny star, serene, free, pure, being of light. And this body is temporarily my vehicle, which I use with dignity and gratitude. Thank you, and have a good rest of the evening.